Hello and welcome to Bitcoin Bankers. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, and maybe one or two others, and have a quick chat about where the market's at today. Might even try and have a look at the stock market. So I'll try not to make this too long, but let's have a bit of a look at today, and let's go to screen share. Cheers. Okay, so let's have a look at Bitcoin here today. I chatted yesterday in the first video back I've done for quite a few years, or maybe 2 or 3 years. And I was talking about yesterday the storm that was brewing with Bitcoin, and we had a bit of a look at that. So go on and have a watch of that video. Very important to see where we're at. I discussed how the overbought territory that we're at monthly is enormous, and I'm not sure that it's worth considering. How this is going to start moving out from here. Anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to go to the daily. I'm just going to have a bit of a look here. We're still obviously in this massive ascending triangle. Yesterday we were discussing it might come down and land on this sort of crux here, this support, and you can see that it's really hit an important sort of area of support there, and just kind of jiggling around. We could probably, the way momentum is, I think we're probably just going to sort of crawl up here a little bit. My concern is that we might just drop out again, but I don't think we're going to drop that far at this point in time. If this daily continues to move down and curl down based on what's above, which is the weekly, you can see that's still looking, the stochastic RSI is looking a little aggressive price-wise. We're looking at this main sort of blue line here as the main sort of trend line. The smoothing line that I have here is more for how the price moves in consolidating markets. Okay, this one is more for the volatility, and it is still looking like it's. I don't like saying bearish, but it looks like it's getting aggressively sort of starting to move down. And when you have the daily with that also starting to sort of curl over, I don't know what the chances are that we could sort of just drop out of this. I think there is a lot of support here, and we'll go to the 4 hour shortly and have a look. But I think there's still quite a bit of support here to keep us in the game for now. It's just as we move up to sort of around this area, the next candle will probably really sort of have to move up to around this area. Next one, just gradually move up, and then have a quick breakthrough to get above. This sort of resistance line here. We want it to pop up above, come back, settle, and then take off. So this junction is a pretty important time frame, and that's one thing I forgot to talk about yesterday is time frames. Timing is very important with price action in Bitcoin, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back to this. So we have our data. There's a little bit of positive growth sort of pulling back from this big sell-off that we had yesterday. Let's go to the 4 hourly. So you can see here the 4 hour is kind of bouncing back, but it does have a bit of resistance to get through. We've got to get through this band here. We've got to start cutting through the ribbon. The ribbon's very tight at the moment because it's transiting from a positive sort of bullish area into more of a negative kind of flux, if you want to call it that. It's been pretty strong resistance along this area here, and so the price gets a bit squeezed between one band and the other, and needs a bit of that extra sort of buying power to get in. And my question has always been in this video and the last video I did, do we have the buying power to push ourselves up and above the resistance area? Okay, and that's what we should all be sort of really thinking about. Do we have the buying power to really thrust us up through? Because we've got a fair bit of resistance. We've got this area here around 57. We've got a band tightening to get above 58. Then we got the 59. So there's a really big area of resistance, like in this little range. You know what I mean? And I use the stochastic to the RSI stochastic to see, do we have enough pressure to bust through this resistance? And that's what I use the RSI for. I'll go to the 1 hour, and this is expanding that kind of area of resistance we were looking at a little bit better. So you can see, on this ribbon, we have these sort of moving averages, quite a bit of weight. We have that flux where the ribbon is turning sort of more negative. We don't know how far that'll ride out, but it's quite a bit of resistance here, and then we have resistance above that. So we're going to need a lot of momentum and buying power to really push us out of that. So this could be, I think we need maybe a few news stories that can give people a bit more confidence in Bitcoin at the moment. That's what I think we really need, because any time frame under this just really isn't going to explain or show a lot. The 30-minute starting to come down again, but that these things flux every sort of 3 hours. What's more important is sort of the 3 hour, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. So we're getting to this point where we are oversold on the 3 hour. We're oversold on the 4 hour. And just this formation here, to be honest, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that there is a lot of buying momentum. When you have these, as you can see, these big hook sort of hits at the bottom and the bounce back, it more or less is like something hitting the water and just starting to bounce an aquaplane, and it needs that extra momentum to lift off again. So at this point in time, do we have enough momentum to slam up? Well, that comes down to maybe a lot of the traders, a lot of the buyers, the retail buyers, to say, do they have the confidence to buy back in? Are people seeing this as a good opportunity to buy into Bitcoin? And at the moment, I just think it's a bit lackluster. A few things could happen that could really push that up, but I think we're just going to kind of dribble along here. We may even have a little fake out, maybe in a sort of 54, 52 worst. But at this point in time, it's just a little lackluster. There's not a lot of assurance, more than anything, or confidence that Bitcoin is just suddenly... Look, everyone's bullish, and there's no doubt about it. Everyone's bullish. We're all waiting for the price to move, but is the confidence level there? And confidence in price action is a bit different to just being bullish and hoping. You don't want to rely on hopium. You want to see confidence. Because confidence brings confirmation. Does that make sense? Confidence, when the market is confident, you're more likely to get confirmation that a price is moving a particular direction and is going to keep lifting up from there. So we want to see confidence, and I'm just not seeing a lot of confidence at the moment when we're looking at these time frames. So look, what do I think is going to happen? The outcome over the next 3 days? I think we're just going to sort of we might have a bit of a pop, and then it's just going to linger. And once we get to this point here, I think this is going to be sort of the crucial time. So around the 11th to 12th of April, maybe a bit before, maybe the 10th. So by this weekend, I think it's really going to determine which direction we go. If we can get more buying power, if the 4 hour can sort of, in a day or two, can start really sort of pushing up, and we get that convergence of time frames, as I talked about yesterday, convergence of time frames moving up, that's more likely to push the price higher. Confidence comes in, and we can get our confirmation that the price is likely going to have a better chance at breaking through the resistance. Okay, that's the way I see Bitcoin. So it's going to be a bit of a rough trot the next 2 or 3 days. I think that's what's going to happen. We're just going to have to sit and watch. If you're trading, I would be very careful. I would have low leverage and maybe a 3x, and just make a little move, but I probably wouldn't be trading at the moment. If I were you, I'd be holding off. I've actually stopped trading. I stopped trading back in January, February. I tried again. I had a few trades about 2 weeks ago, and I just wasn't happy with the way the market was moving, so I've actually stopped trading. I'm just hodling. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. So here's Ethereum. It has actually broken out of originally of this triangle. Nice big W pattern there. Da Vinci J talks about the old W patterns. He's been talking about them for years, and they do work. They do work pretty well. Had a nice sort of breakout above the line. It's pulled back yesterday. Just kind of sitting on this support resistance line area. Because the daily is sort of starting to move into a bit more of a sell-off position, I don't know if it's going to drop down hard behind here. There's a bit of support here, so I think Ethereum, generally speaking, I think it may toddle along, but we'll have a look at the lower time frames. Actually, before we do, let's see what's above it. Let's see what's above. So again, we have this this triangle, and yesterday we were looking at the stochastic down here. And as you can see, it started bending down again. And that's what I was talking about yesterday. It was more of a bearish kind of movement in the stochastic RSI, indicating that there is more selling off. And so there's a bit of a contradiction going on here. The stochastic RSI is showing more selling. Volume is showing that there's more selling going on. But the price in the candles, this is really bullish. This is really a bullish kind of position, so I think a lot of people seem to have more confidence in Ethereum and the alt markets at the moment, and that's probably what this is representing. We are a fair way from the moving average and the ribbon. Yeah, look, if I was just to look at the price and not look at these indicators, I'd be saying, yeah, this is going to be a nice move up next week. If things keep sort of going the way they are. If it was to just hold this position for the next, till Sunday, then I think, it would definitely be a lot more bullish, because when you start to get this formation, it's a really pretty bullish formation. You're having sort of they're both sitting in line, and it pulls back a little bit, and it's getting ready to take off. But looking at this, the volume, and looking at the RSI stock here, it's edging towards a more bearish movement. There is more selling. Okay, monthly, well, that's just overbought, and it's very kind of big reversal candle. You've got this inverted hammer here, big reversal, so they're more likely to go down than up. And the lower time frames, when we go back here, the 4 hour, like this is quite bullish. This is looking really good. And I reckon you could probably pull a little trade here where it might sort of move up from 1989 to maybe the 2058. Might get a nice little trade in that area. Will it break this sort of high here and back up to the 2137? It could. I just want to see the daily again. Yeah, maybe. It's a bit of a tough position at the moment. Let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, so you can see it's being suppressed by the ribbon and a fair bit of selling here. She's under the moving averages. There's quite a bit of resistance. Not a lot for 1 hour, but it can kind of break through that quite a bit. But the ribbon and this larger band are sort of converging together, which is starting to show that there might be a bit more of a sell-off. You can see the stochastic RSI is starting to pull down a little bit and point down, drop its nose down as well. But a fair bit of support here too, so maybe we might just get a bit of a sort of stick along here for a little while and a bit more consolidation. 30-minute, yeah, probably more likely to sort of have a dip. We might be able to break through this here. So again, I think there might be a nice sort of $40, $50 trade there over the next day. We just got to wait for these to sort of, maybe run down a little bit and see where they're going. Okay, so on the all, Ethereum is more or less, I would say it's probably a bit more bullish than Bitcoin. You might get a nice trade, $40, $50 trade here, okay, over the next 8 hours. But it's tough to say. Trading is tough. It's very hard to say where things are likely to go. We can only balance our decision on confidence in the market, and do we have confirmation that these things are moving in this particular direction? Okay. It is sitting above this triangle. Like I said, normally looking at price, I'd say it's pretty bullish. The 4 hour has got some potential to sort of have a nice move. It could even go up to sort of around this area again. Will it break? I don't think so at this point in time, but I could be wrong. So that's Ethereum. I think Ethereum is technically a little more bullish than Bitcoin, the way things are standing at the moment. I think people are starting to understand there's a move towards altcoins because they're not quite confident in Bitcoin, breaking those previous highs of 61. Let's have a quick look at ADA. Okay. Again, they're all in these triangle formations, ascending triangles. ADA's had a pretty good breakthrough a couple of times. Actually, I'll go to the daily first. Look at the daily. Still growing, sitting in a reasonably nice position, believe it or not. It has sort of broken out of the triangle here a little bit, but that just could be the way I'm drawing it. I could sort of put it here a bit more based on the bottom of this, or I can sort of move it there and pull this back. So we can adjust it a few different ways, really, can't we? All in all, it's still got a chance to be pretty bullish. Let's have a look at the weekly. Weekly is a bit more hard to say. We've got our Dragonfly Doji, that's pretty positive, but we had this big reversal sort of candle here, the big wick. Then we had a normal Doji of a lot of uncertainty. Now we've got this Graveyard Doji coming in. Not looking too good. So it's basically just, again, a lot of indecision here at the moment, guys, because we just don't know if we can break these new highs. There's been such great movement lately in a lot of the coins. It's very hard to tell, if we're going to continue that. Most retailers want to go up. Most whales probably want to go down, so they can buy in and get things a bit cheaper. But ADA is $1.20 anyway, so it's pretty cheap. Let's see, 1 hour. We'll go to the 1 hour. So getting a little bit more bullish again, starting to come around on the RSI. Still not a lot of volume happening, but this is where things can kind of start to pop. A fair bit of resistance. This is the 1 hour chart. A fair bit of resistance. The ribbons converging with the band. That's pretty heavy kind of resistance there for the price to have to work through. So it may be a bit more gradual, depending how much power. Let's go 30 minute. Yeah, see, it's getting ready to sell off soon, maybe. This could just keep continuing along the top in the overbought territory if the 1 hour and the 4 hour are pumping up. So we may get that breakthrough, but given the way that the 4 hour is, I know I'm jumping around, I do apologise for that, but that's just how I sort of work and how I look. The 4 hour stochastic is looking like, I call that the flat tire. It's there's not a lot of momentum here, but the lower time frames do have a bit of power to sort of give it a bit of a push. The weekly, as we saw before, not a lot. There's quite a bit more uncertainty. What was the daily again? I forget the daily. Yeah, see, daily is showing this contradiction between the weekly and the 4 hour, more or less. A fair bit of uncertainty, just sort of sitting still, not quite sure where to go, indecision. I think overall, ADA sort of probably has a bit more chance of sort of moving up towards the upper end. So it might be a good trade to sort of jump in this over the next 2 days and see where she goes. Definitely the next 24 hours, I think I would wait. The 15. Yeah. So even while it's consolidating, it's a bit more of a bearish, bullish move towards, maybe an increase in price back up to about $1.23, maybe. It's possible, but at the moment, I would probably wait until these sort of give you an indication of where they're going a bit more. But if you wanted to jump in, you could probably sort of maybe jump in once it starts breaking $1.20. You could probably jump in, and it might get a bit of a push up. It's about $1.23, $1.25, and that might be a nice little trade there. I think it could, over the next few days, it probably could keep pushing up a little bit higher. We might get to $1.28, but we'll have to come back and check that. We're only on the 30-minute here, so if you look on the 4-hour, the 4-hour, if it can just sort of get a bit more momentum and maybe come down and bounce off this a bit more and just give it that better drive up, I think we might get back up to this $1.26, $1.27 range. Possibly within the next 24 to 48 hours, but we'll have to wait and see. What was it? The 1 hour was strong, wasn't it? Yeah, 1 hour looks pretty strong. The daily, not showing a lot. 3 hour, 3 hours starting to turn a bit. The 3 hours a bit more positive, and this can help the 1 hourly sort of get that positive trajectory to sort of break through this resistance here. That's sort of most of those coins there. OMG, I had OMG a little while ago. I actually bought it $4 Australian, $4.50 Australian, which would probably be about $3.20 US. Back in, I have to go to a daily. So I bought, it was around this region somewhere, I think. Might have even been earlier. I held it for a few weeks, where it ran up to around this range here. So I basically got a 110% profitability out of that trade. I think I bought $2,500. Just spent $2,500, threw it in, let it sit there for a month, and I was able to pull about 5,200 by the time I got to stop. Then it sort of I knew it was breaking down, so I jumped out, and it's just taken off again. It's looking really good, but we've got a bit of a reversal here. I think she's sort of a little bit overbaked. Maybe she'll come back down to around this area, but OMG's been going really good, going really nice, because it sat in a slump for such a long time. If we have a look here, it's not going to show all that. Oh, that's a bugger. 2020. Oh, that's cracking. Fair enough. So as you can see over here, these coins are starting to get a little bit more positive again. We're moving into positive territory. Looking good. OMG's looking pretty strong on the weekly again, so I think OMG can be a pretty good buy. If you want to look long term, I think it might be a nice investment, but I'd probably wait until it maybe comes down here, mid-range or lower range, around this area. If you want to get it now, it's your choice. Daily, I think it's getting a bit overbought. It's got to cool off, so probably not the best area at the moment. But she's breaking this rail here. Something we're thinking about. If you look at the American Stock Exchange, the S&P, well, this just keeps going up forever and ever and ever and ever. Looking really strong. Everyone's talking about the American market crashing, because of the printing the dollar and all that sort of thing. Yes, that does. All these things. America is not in the best position going forward. But all that money printing just flows into the stock markets and flows into other hands. The old Cantillon effect. You got billionaires and things getting interest-free loans, and they can borrow billions more, but your credit card is still 20%, isn't it? So that's always fair, but we got to work with what we got. Okay. Look, I don't usually trade stock markets much. I got 1 or 2 stocks in the Australian stock market, and that's it. I just stick to cryptos more. I think the normal stock market can be pretty slow, generally speaking, because they're only trading for 8 hours. Crypto is 24 hours. Anyway, still looking pretty strong. Let's have a look at the weekly. Yeah, definitely moving into this sort of. You could say this, it might start going parabolic. If you have a look at these ribbons, there's just such positivity in the market there. I don't know how or why, but that's the way it is. Probably because I just explained it. But there is more room on the stochastic to move. Where'd my little thing go? Where's it gone? Hey. Okay, so I've lost my stochastic. But I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. At the end of the day, look, Bitcoin's starting to get a little bit more positive again. We're coming back here. Here we are. Again, that's just such a monstrous move. One thing, there's a lot of people out there saying, it's going to pump, it's going to keep going, it's going to keep going. Well, yeah, probably will at some point. The question is, will it keep going now? Now, everyone keeps talking about going to 70,000. Look, there's a good chance it could. Just the way things are moving, I think we're going to get a bit more of a longer term pullback. And again, it's not so much price, it's not so much how far back it's going to go, it's how long it's going to take. Because this could just, this could just take time, going down like this, going down like this, and then maybe start building up, and then it might come down, and then she'll take off around September or October. That's what I think is more likely to happen. Right? There's your sort of support line here, there's a support line here. So that's what I think. Whoops, I need to go back to this. This is what I think is more likely. Okay? Because it's just, I just don't think it has a momentum to sort of break out. If it does, great, I'll be in it, me making money. At the end of the day, guys, you just got to decide, if you're trading on a daily basis, then you've got to be careful. You've got to sort of have a better idea which way it's going to go. If you're just trading on hopium, you're going to get addicted and you're going to get fucked. Just like every druggie. If you're sort of trying to plan your decisions and plan your entries, I think the best thing at the moment is just wait. If you've got bigger positions that you want to trade and a bit more leverage, I would wait until it breaks out over 60 to sort of 61. I'd wait till it's sort of getting over this mark. You have confirmation, there's confidence, it's moving, and it's more likely to sort of take off. That's a better bet. But if you're trying to trade all this choppy shit, it's going to end in pain. It's just going to move around, and it's too hard to see which way it's going. If you're hodling, then you might want to consider, if you're only hodling a small amount and you really don't want to see that go down, you could probably sell at least half your holdings. That's what I did. I sold half my holdings. I sold half my holdings up here. I think, this is American dollars, so Australian dollars. I might have sold up around here. I sold about half of it, let it come down, see which way, and I might sell the other half. If it starts breaking out and falling down, I might just sell around here, let it come down, and see where we go, right? Because this monthly is really bothering me, I think it needs to really pull back. This move is monstrous, guys. It's huge, So you need to start planning, start reading about strategies. If you're living in Australia or you want to see some Australian trading channels on the stock market, you can try Wealth Within. That's a pretty good one. And Nuggets News, he's an Aussie. I like supporting Australians. There's a lot of great Americans and other people on YouTube and doing some great stuff. There's also a few wankers out there, and I won't say who they are. But some of them, they all seem to go really well when the trends anyone can make money in this. Anyone can be right on their predictions when it's moving like this. How could you be wrong? When we were down at, I think it was when we were down at, I'm just trying to think. I didn't expect us to get to 20,000 so quickly, and I actually had, it might have been around here, US, because it was around 14,000 Australian, I think, or 14,000 US maybe it was. And I was trading in this range somewhere, and I stupidly put on, I was just doing some, what do you call it, some bit of scalping and things, and I just had a short trade on. I thought, yeah, she's going to pull back a bit soon. It might have been around this area here, and I was expecting it to sort of pull back, and all of a sudden we just had this, it might have been around here, and we just started having this boom, and I saw it coming, and I went, a few more hours, and I didn't have a stop loss there. And it went from I think it must have been around the $14,000 mark. And then it just took off to 17,000, 19,000, up around this area. And yeah, I jumped out here. So between here and here, I was in a really bad position. And I managed to get out. I stopped trading and I moved what I had left back into my holdings. And fortunately, I managed to catch all this. So I made back the money that I lost and then made some good profit on it because I stopped trading. And I just held through the big rise and I finished pretty well. So, you know, you're going to take losses sometimes if you're not careful, like I wasn't careful. I saw the big move upwards coming, but I didn't I didn't really think it was going to move like that. But these kinds of big moves only happen once every few years, guys. Like, look how long we've sat down here for. We were all looking at this like this was the biggest move we've ever seen. But now it looks like a little anthill compared to this. You know, so look at the pullback we got from 20,000, man. You know, and that took, okay, December 17 to February 19 before it really started moving anywhere. March 19. So that's a year and 3 months on this move. How long do you think it could pull back on something that's 6 times bigger than it? So if ever, you know, there are people out there, I know everyone's trying to keep the positivity going, I know everyone's trying to keep the momentum going, but you've got to be realistic, okay? You've got to be realistic. And when you're seeing massively overbought areas, you've got to consider how she's going to respond, you know what I mean? Yes, lots of people are moving in. Yes, big corporations are moving in. But they don't want to buy here. Everyone knows you don't usually buy at the top at the end of a trend. You know, you buy back in here. So that's my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see Bitcoin keep going up again. I'm not trying to fuddle FOMO. I'm just saying you've got to consider the effects. And if you're not used to investing or trading, especially if you're under 40, under 35, if you're new at these sorts of things, there's a lot of people out there feeding you hopium, and I don't think they can read charts properly, most of these people, because anyone, like I said before, anyone can make you money when it's going up, but how well do they do when it goes sideways? When it starts consolidating like this, how well do people really do during this kind of market? Now, this has been going on since 22nd of February. It's now the 8th of April. So almost 2 months it's been consolidating for, right? And, you know, could be some prickles on the way, you know. But these people, they just put on their blinders. No, I don't know why you're getting scared. Well, you don't have to be scared, but you do have to be smart, you know, and you do have to be prepared because Bitcoin is way overbought. A lot of people do want to get in, but they don't want to get in at the top. They want to get in at a better price. Anyone would, you know. Some people are happy to buy in at the top. They don't care. You know, like Michael Saylor. You know, I mean, he's going to hold his Bitcoin for 100 years. What's the fucking point? He'll be dead. I don't understand that. You know, Bitcoin was actually meant to flow through the market. It wasn't meant to be hoarded by greedy billionaires who just want to keep it for themselves. I mean, how does that help the ecology of Bitcoin, you know? But I can't tell anyone what to do. Everyone's got to make their own choices. Anyway, that's most of the pricing today. Let's have a quick look at Australian stock market, actually. Again, she's broken through the top here. This was the big COVID dump. Australia didn't respond as well as the US in recovery, you know. We were earlier having our lockdowns, and that caused a bit of this problem. America was slow to respond with their lockdowns. Europe, they were already locking down over here. So, yeah, we finally sort of came out and had a lot more positivity. This area here around October, November is when the major lockdowns ended, especially in my state where I live. And we were locked down hard for a long time. And yeah, we finally came out of that, and this is right around this area, stock market revived. So now she's sitting above this long time sort of support resistance line and starting to make a nice move up. But I think if I had my stochastic here, I'd be able to show you. I just don't know where it's gone. Where the hell's it gone? It normally shows up somewhere. It's really weird. But anyway, looking a lot more bullish at the moment. Might get a bit more of a push up. It's, you know, is it starting to break these previous highs? Looking good. But if I have my stochastic here, you'd see that a lot of it's actually quite overbought. But all in all, looking pretty bullish. You know, like, again, without my stochastics, I'd look at this and say, well, that's looking really bullish. It's going to take off. That's what I see. That's what it looks like, you know. So that's why sometimes it's good to have those stochastic momentum. You know, you can have the Arun, you can have different ones. I just have this one for mine. So that works for me. Okay. That's about it today, guys. I hope that's been helpful for you. I hope I haven't babbled on too long and not make sense about anything. If you have valid questions, go on. I think tomorrow we might have a look at a couple of altcoins again, and we'll see where they're going. We'll have a look at maybe Theta. I bought some of that the other day. Keeping our eye on our main ones. And yeah, we'll have a look at more altcoins tomorrow, I think. So let's go from there. Please like, please subscribe. Let's pump Bitcoin Bankers up. And let's get it going out there, guys. And thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. Probably lunchtime again tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow, we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go tomorrow, because it's a special day tomorrow. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks a lot. Please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you next time.